All right. So good evening, everyone. Today we'll be taking you on a journey into the fascinating world of deepfakes, as we say it. And it's not just another buzzword. It's an evolving field that uses artificial intelligence to create synthetic media, challenging our very perception of reality, right? And we all have heard a lot about deepfakes. Deepfakes, in simple terms, or simply put, are the 21st century counterparts of Photoshop, right? All have seen examples in the recent past, blurring the lines between truth and deception, right? Now, let's imagine a world where, you know, political speeches could be altered or, historical figures brought to life through AI, right? And you will be surprised to know some of our startups present today are actually working on the same, bringing historical figures to life, right? Deepfakes, actually is a powerful tool, but it's important to understand the challenges they pose, right? So I am Naman Kothari, and today we'll explore the unseen potential of deepfake technology, right? So now it will be the complete session is, placed in a very relaxed setting. And what if, I tell you that the war between Russia and Ukraine is over? Yes, Russian President Vladimir Putin on national television called for a ceasefire. Would you believe it? Or what if I tell you President Joe Biden addresses the nation recently and, talks about a story about magical pistachios? Well, you heard it right, magical pistachios, right? Right? Would you believe it? Hard to believe, right? All right. So there is another video that is making rounds on the internet where an AI generated Putin asks Putin about his rumored body double. Would you believe your eyes? Now, for a twist, picture this. Prime Minister Modi, Narendra Modi, the man of politics, breaking into the dance doing the Garba. Can you imagine that? But hold on, where's the proof, you might ask? You all might ask, where's the proof, right? Well, see it with your own eyes.
Дорогие соотечественники, тема моего обращения – ситуация на Украине. Только что прошли переговоры с украинской стороной.
Have I ever told you the story of the magical pistachio? I got lost in the grocery store and couldn't find my way out. But that's when I saw it, a glowing pistachio. It spoke to me and said, "Follow me and I'll lead you to safety."
Владимир Владимирович, здравствуйте. Я студент и учусь в Санкт-Петербургском государственном университете. Хочу спросить, правда ли, что у вас много двойников? И еще, как вы относитесь к тем опасностям, которые несет в нашу жизнь искусственный интеллект и нейросети? Спасибо.
Гражданин из Санкт-Петербурга не представился.
Да. Вот я смотрю, вы можете быть на меня похожи и говорите моим голосом. Но я подумал и решил, что похожим на себя и говорить моим голосом должен только один человек. И этим человеком буду я.
आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस कैसे काम कर रहा है, डीप फेक क्या कर सकता है और कितना बड़ा संकट पैदा कर सकता है, और उसमें जो चाहे वो बना सकते हैं जी। मैंने अभी एक वीडियो देखा जिसमें मैं गरबे गा रहा हूँ और मैं खुद भी देख रहा क्या बढ़िया बना है।
These videos are, convincing, looks like almost real and yet entirely manipulated, right? And faces, as you can see, are there, voices are there, but the words everything is a lie, right? It's a dangerous game, as we can see, that blurs the boundaries between the fact and fiction, as you can see, right? And, as someone said, the fundamental aim of disinformation is not, necessary to make people believe the lies. It is to make people unsure of what to believe, The deepfake, the topic that we are discussing today, take this complete process a step further. Now, imagine seeing a video of a political leader making a controversial statement. So even if it could be a fake, a seed of doubt is already planted. In a world where opinions go viral, people start believing what suits their biases. Now, this is the crux of our today's discussion that we'll be talking about. And this uncertainty, can have some serious consequences. Check this, for instance, a simple Google search on deepfake, and you will see so many headlines appearing on the web page, right, regarding deepfake consequences, right? So, as it is said, it does not necessarily have to make sense, any deepfake information. It just needs to be spread. Someone somewhere will definitely fall for it, right? So, we'll without further ado, enough said. Right now, the $1 million question is what can be done. In the next 90 minutes or so, we'll crack this code together. Buckle up as we, dive deep into the world of deepfakes. And remember one very important thing throughout the session: seeing is no longer believing, right? Get ready for a wild ride. And all right, it's time now. Let's meet our esteemed panelists. Can we have the panelists on the screen, please? All right, it's time now. Let's meet our panelists who will be guiding us through the deepfake detection. First, we have Vivek Datta, the CEO and EVP at Third Eye AI, which is a JBM Group company. Vivek brings a wealth of experience in strategic outsourcing and digital transformation across different verticals. Joining us from Hyderabad, we have Dilip, an AI innovation and transformation leader with extensive experience in both startups and MNCs. Currently, Dilip is the GM at Voice, Vodafone Intelligent Solutions, driving global innovation. From the automotive sector, we have Deepu, Deputy General Manager at Daimler Truck Innovation Center. Deepu is an IT expert with a proven track record in product-oriented software development. Welcome, Deepu. Representing GE Healthcare, we have Prasad S. Murthy, a staff scientist in the Advanced Technology Group. Prasad also serves as a visiting faculty at the Department of Computational and Data Sciences at IISc. Last but not the least, also from the GE Healthcare, we have Rahul Venkat, a machine learning scientist with a focus on the intersection of machine learning and healthcare. Rahul contributes to developing tech that enhances diagnostic and treatment processes. Welcome, Prasad and Rahul. Now, finally, meet our moderator Manoj Singh, the co-founder and editor-in-chief at TIES, India's leading startup ecosystem OTT platform. With over 25 years of experience in media and entertainment, he has successfully led and delivered diverse media houses and diverse media products across genres. Manoj, we have an impressive panel with diverse expertise today, and I'm confident that we'll have a very insightful session discussion. So over to you, Manoj, to kick things off.
Thank you very much, Naman. So I'm actually skipping my introduction part because you have already introduced the entire topic and set the format for the discussion. Since it's all about learning, I would want to start the discussion from Rahul Venkat, who is a machine learning scientist from GE Healthcare. So Rahul, first thing first, just for larger audience, try to explain us what is deepfake and how it's created.
So thanks, Manoj. Like I think Naman explained in the beginning, deepfakes are the 21st century Photoshop. But there's a difference, a subtle difference that I was thinking about last time to now. So one of the things is what I think is the industrial scale of deepfake. So Photoshop is a skill that, let's say, artists or specific people learn, and they can try and create these fake images and make these images, which, let's say, some people believe and some people do not. But what the current AI techniques have enabled us to do is it has democratized the creation of these deepfakes and at an industrial scale. So people just have to write something like a text prompt of, say, something like Mark Zuckerberg in Dharavi or something, and then you'll get a very realistic image, and let's say hundreds of images, and then let's say somebody just has to pick and choose. So it has really opened up the amount of damage that it can cause. So that's I think one of the fundamental differences between fakes that existed, let's say, 5 years back and fakes that exist now. And at a very high level, let's say, the creation of deep fakes is linked to the technology that's also powering the AI revolution. So it all started with this wonderful creation called GANs somewhere around 2016, 2017, where people started generating this very lovely images. But then training it was very hard, and then GANs slowly were taken over by normalizing flows. And in the last couple of years, we have diffusion models that have really taken over the field. And these diffusion models are not only relatively easier to train, lots of open source companies, like Hugging Face and so on, have also trained models, and it's all out there for people to use. And this technical revolution is what we are seeing, the deep fake being pushed into daily living, and it's become very, very commonplace.
So this is what normally people say cheap fake or shallow fakes. These are the common things which are available in the market, and most of the people who are into creating different set of narrative, they are using it. So if we go beyond that, this is the public facing things, and people understand a deep fake from a video, from say a picture perspective. But if I can bring in Dilip Manipali, General Manager, Vodafone India. Dilip. So we were discussing about this deepfake technology. So as Venkat rightly explained what the technology is, and mostly in public facing, जो public जो देखती है वो basically political figures, stars, TikTok videos, इस तरह की चीजें उनको नजर आती हैं. But I mean that is the fun part. But then what we must discuss about is the real issue, which is the serious part. When deepfake, like cloning of people, their identity theft, or their somebody can clone your voice, how serious this could be?
Well, I think that's a very good question, Manoj. And I think when Naman said this, seeing is no longer believing. In a video, imagine a video where Mark Zuckerberg says he's the man who's controlling data of billions of people. Imagine President Obama calling Trump deep shit. Imagine Ukraine versus Russia, and I think you were also talking about where Zelensky, the Ukrainian president, asked soldiers to surrender. Or imagine a Japanese company based in Hong Kong, leading to a 35 million heist where the fraudsters, the director called up the manager and asked to release funds for $35 million for a potential acquisition. Now, unfortunately, all of these above examples did happen, but through deep fake. Now, deep fake is a real menace. Now, today it's sort of impacting. One is, of course, the misinformation and the fake news. It has the potential to, let's say, tweak or affect public opinion. Election interference is another key challenge where, this year, we all know 50 countries are holding elections this year, determining the future of half the planet's population. And I'll give you a very small example which recently happened from the city which I belong, Hyderabad. There was this political party, Congress, which sort of released a deep fake video very recently, claiming that the opposition leader has asked to vote for Congress. And this happened on the day of election. And of course, the damage control couldn't be done. So it could sort of impact election interference. It could cause, crime and fraud. A classic example, a Japanese company where the director called the manager, and it was not the director calling, but it was deep fake, leading to release of $35 million funds. So it could cause major crimes like this. And of course, the damage to reputation. We've recently seen Taylor Swift images, explicit images being released on internet, or even Zuckerberg's, reputation, even Rashmika Mandana. So all of these are serious implications. And I think what even Venkat Ramani was also talking about, that whole deepfake, which was initially a technology used by few, and now it's in the hands of you and I. So, and I always say, empowerment comes with responsibility, but seems like the governance mechanism is missing. So there is a big, menace from this technology's power perspective.
So I would like to go to Deepu Barua, who's DGM of Daimler Truck Innovation Center, if I'm pronouncing it correct.
Yeah, it's Daimler Truck Innovation Center.
Sorry. So Deepu, before we get to the question, please introduce yourself, what you do and what your company does, so that we can ask you the right questions.
All right. So my name is Deepu Besbro. I'm working in Daimler Truck Innovation Center, which is basically an innovation center focusing on topics related to digital engineering. And I'm from the IT department, and we normally work with anything to do with automotive in the area of trucks for my division, where we have a lot of IT applications helping the entire development process of vehicle, be it truck, bus, or any other vehicle. But we are focusing on trucks and buses. So we have engineering, we have manufacturing, we have sales, after sales, supplier, supplier portal, supply connections, and supply chain, and all the other topics across the value chain. And we use IT for developing our applications, and AI parts plays a major role there, especially in the engineering area. We have a lot of uses of AI there in developing, let's say, designs. If I give a small example, let's say I want to design a new steering wheel for the modern trucks. So how do you start? The conventional way is that you start with the typical design. Somebody draws the design in a software, and then you do the typical cycle of improving it further and further. So using AI, you can get the head start. You can give the constraint to AI, and AI can give you a design which is according to your constraint. And also it may not be a perfect solution, but you have a head start, and then you go in from there. Another example can be that.
But Dilip, technology is something that can be used either way. So we'll come back to that, the better part, good part of the AI technology, which can be used for, betterment of humankind, or, make our daily life easier. What was your first encounter of, if I would ask you, deepfake, something which made you like, whoa, what is this? So what was your experience of any deepfake which you have seen recently or in the past?
So Manoj, is the question to me?
Yeah, to you. Your personal experience about deepfake. We all see deepfake. For a common people or people like us who are into media, the basic deepfake is, again, it comes to video and pictures. We don't think beyond that, because that is the thing which a lot of people consume on their daily basis, and that is used for propaganda or setting up some narrative. So that is my experience. But what is your experience? Have you seen something?
Absolutely. So I think already our panelists, Dilip and Venkat, has already explained a lot of cases. You have also shown videos. I have also personally experienced that, looking at the videos and so on. But recently, I would like to mention of a case with a normal person in Kerala, where actually this person gets a call on his WhatsApp with a video message that one of his, let's say, long-term friend from a little bit far in different city says that I'm in trouble, I need some money, please transfer because I'm in big trouble. And then, of course, being a good person, a good friend, he said, okay, fine, I will transfer. So he transferred 40,000 rupees to a particular account to save this person from that problem. But later he found that it was a fake. It was a fake video which was created by somebody as a part of a scam. And then it looked like a real video of his friend, and he fall for it. I think this is a very simple example that can happen to anybody, any normal person. We are talking about celebrities, but even normal citizen can be impacted by deepfakes.
Absolutely. So, I just met somebody who works on, not, I wouldn't say deepfake, but, video service that, they're offering to media people. So, they are made. If I want to become an anchor, I can just record 15-20 minutes of video in any language, and they will clone my voice, and they will clone my face, and they will create my another avatar in different languages. So that is very much possible, and again, it can be used for good purpose or bad purpose. That is one thing. But looking at the scenario now, we are entering into the election mode, and say about over 1,000 million, over say 986 million registered voters are in India, and over 161 million people in USA. Both these democracies, one is the biggest, largest one is the oldest one. They are getting into election mode, and this deepfake will have again a very serious and very serious consequences setting narratives and agenda for people. So there is one threat to individual, like somebody, a scammer can call me and cheat me, and but there's a wider implication of using these deep fake videos or audios to change the narrative in the society. So Dilip, what is your take on that? How do we fight that? I mean, a common person, I mean, we all receive videos and chats and SMSs, or on or WhatsApp. How do I believe something or not believe?
I think fundamentally, from a common perspective, and I think I do talk about this in terms of raising awareness about deepfake, is a consumer like you and me. If we see something odd, I think the first question we should be asking, is it a deepfake? Is it an outcome of a deepfake? And there are lots of things. In fact, recently MIT has also created a website where you could they guide you in terms of how to figure out a deepfake. Now, as a consumer, I can look at some inconsistencies in the facial expression and movements. If you carefully look at the content, there could be lip sync errors. My mother recently, the other day, she sent me a Dhirubhai Ambani, endorsed talk. And I said, no, Mom, this is a deep fake, because you just observe what Dhiru Ambani is talking about, and the lip sync, the gap is there. Similarly, users can look at blurry or misaligned edges, unusual backgrounds, audio anomalies, objects edge flickering. So I think fundamentally, first important thing is for users or consumers to take a step back. I think government has to raise awareness about there is something called deepfake persisting. I think that's the first step. Second step is in terms of helping the masses identify how to identify a deepfake. Of course, the technology is grown up, but there are, like I said, 7 or 8 things that could be done to identify a deepfake. Hope that answers Manoj.
Okay. Venkat, I mean, this is our internal situation where we're getting into election mode, but there is something called external. So we all have heard, some country interfering into some other country's election or some process, or creating some kind of, unrest in the country, whether it's Russia blaming somebody, or China blaming somebody, Canada blaming some country, or, US blaming some country. So is it possible, I mean, through AI or through deepfake, to create such a huge narrative and reach out to such people at such a mass level, disrupt election processes in countries?
Yeah. So I generally believe that, as we move towards a more digital economy, right? So for example, in the 80s and 90s, if you see, all political parties were in a mad rush to buy media houses and television channels and so on, so that the narrative was set because of television. Now, if you see in the 2010, 15 and so on, there were a lot of content creators, and generally content creators are also rumored to be paid by different political parties and so on, and even entities outside the country to fund whatever narrative is suitable to different sections of society. But here is the thing, right? While I completely agree with what Dilip said previously, that as an individual we have to be wary and be cautious of trying to identify a deep fake from a real a bit of data. But I think it's a very asymmetrical relationship that we are staring at right now. So on one hand, we have powerhouses like Facebook and Meta that are just burning GPUs, over weeks and months together. And these methods, let's make no mistake about it, they're going to get better and better. And let's say some of these inconsistencies, like we saw of the lip sync and so on, I truly believe that they will also go away with the quality of videos, even images and even videos that are coming out recently. Like I think Sora is released a couple of weeks back, and the videos just look stunning. So in that situation, I think the governments have a very big role to play here in controlling deepfake, and that can come to 2 ways. One is, of course, the awareness angle that is going to be played out, and people will be made aware. But I also think the more sustainable solution is to use AI to counter AI. So by that, what I mean is, we need a big surveillance system that's catching deep fakes, that's bringing them down from the internet, and so on. So that's number one. Number two is that I think there has to be some regulations on watermarking the content that's generated from the generative models, right? And I think there are green shots in this direction. So last year, Meta, I think it was probably Meta released something called stable signature. So stable signature is a watermarking method that allows Meta to just take a look at any of the image that's generated and ask a question: is this generated by one of Meta's models, or is this a real or some other model's output? So at least at that level, there is some amount of technical validation that we can provide. And I think at least in India, I think I'm happy to note some of the efforts that have been going on. I think there is a couple of institutes. I think IIT Madras has an Institute for Responsible AI in India. And I think there are also a couple of other places where the government of India is actively setting up these places where AI is going to become regulated, or the output of AI is going to be regulated. And this points to the fact that the government is also recognizing that external actors could influence the narrative, and it has to be tackled at that level.
So, Dilip, I want to bring you into this conversation. So, there will always be, gray areas where people like Meta has done. You watermark, you put your signature, and those things. But there's a time frame when a society will awake to the whole thing, and they will try take cognizance of such things, or government will slowly create laws, and information spreading will be done. But then meanwhile, how our innovators like you and Mr. Bez Barua or Venkat, how do you see these organizations, or for the NASCOM, can create something where, like in media, we have this fact check. So there are so many people who do just the job of fact checking. Government has also established one wing to fact check things in terms of like what media is right, in terms of whether we post text and video both. Can such bodies or our innovators come up with something which does this on a larger scale or a continuous basis?
I think that's a very valid point, Manoj, and I think Venkat also did talk about it. I think curbing the menace of deepfake will have to look at very holistically. And if I have to put down into broad categories or a framework, I think one part chunk lies in the citizens or people like you and I, where one is the awareness, and second is teaching them how to detect deepfake. So that's one part of it. The second component lies a lot with the social media platform, right? And I always say this, empowerment comes with responsibility. And it's the responsibility of the social media platforms. One, I think we did talk about in terms of labeling. YouTube has also come out with, mandate if it's an AI generated content, it has to be labeled. But I think why can't we have a system whenever something is being uploaded on the social media, before the upload happens, the AI sort of detects whether it's an AI generated and labels it. If there are, the fact check, I think you stop it or you feed it into a centralized engine where the fact checks could happen, and then only the, release of the video happen. And I think the third important component, which is extremely important, is on the law factor, and fourth is the technological solutions around it. I'll answer both in a bit, but let's talking about the law part. Lots of countries across the globe have come out with strong regulations. Now, regulations could be aimed at the social media platforms. For example, recently in India, I was quite happy to see that the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology has issued an advisory for social media, and it talks about removing any content within the first 36 hours if a user did, tags it as a deep fake, right? And also creating mechanisms to identify misinformation. Similarly, South Korea has passed a law, and it's become now illegal to distribute deepfakes, which could cause harm to public interest. There is 5 years of imprisonment or 43,000 USD. So there are laws at people who are creating content, there are laws about social media. And the final part, I think tech has to play a very large role. This is where the innovation sort of has to lie. I'll give you an example. It was a recent development. Accent Enterprises, it's a leading maker of US police body cameras, and they have upgraded their mechanism to detect deepfake videos. And why can't AI has created deepfake? Why can't AI solve for it? So I think that technology advancements have to happen where we are able to detect at source itself. So yeah, that's a broader view of mine in terms of curbing this menace.
Deepu, Mr. Bedwarwa, these regulations are there. I mean, still we are just trying to create some kind of regulation. Still, there's no right framework. I don't see any concrete framework to deal with deep fake as such. Though people can complain in under several other acts, or which is already in place. So for matter if somebody posts something about me, I can take a legal recourse under some act, but there's nothing specifically made for to deal with deepfake. That is one part. But then coming back to our original discussion, I mean technology can be used either way.
जाता है उन्हें फ्लैट कहते हैं, और जिन घरों में यह भी न पता हो कि बगल के घर में कौन रहता है.
Sorry. So one thing which people are talking in, especially in startup ecosystem, is about the data security. And deepfake and data are they're actually correlated. I mean, everything, machine learning, it pulls out all the data, it learns, and then it creates things. Now, with these new data laws which have come into effect in India, a lot of people are saying new startups will, face a lot of difficulty in securing that data, and that data can also be leaked and used by some other people to maybe create a deepfake, actual deepfake consequences that can happen. So how are Indian startups, or especially new entrepreneurs, can secure their data to avoid data breach, which will finally lead into uses of the same data to use it for crime purposes, create something deepfake. I mean, I'm not talking about videos, I'm talking about just like scammers.
All right. So I think data protection, especially the personal data protection, is very, very important, and most of the countries are already having good policies in place. In India also we have our IT Act, which actually protects the personal information, which is important and very much needed. But in case of deepfake, I mean, also we have to see that if we have to have a very good balance. You talked about the data availability for the startups, how they can protect data, but there has to be a very good balance of the independence, or let's say flexibility, of working on a technology by the startups. At the same time, you protect your data also, because if your regulations are too strict, basically you are banning the technology itself to go forward, which is also not good. So I think there has to be a very good balance. So like Dilip mentioned, I think it's very important, three factors we have to consider. One is the awareness for people. People should understand what it means. Second one is a technological advancement. And especially in deepfake, it's a cat and mouse game, right? The technology is evolving every day, and you have to actually also develop the technology to catch it similarly. And finally, the policies. So policies of different countries who actually has to take care. So these are the three aspects we have to take care, but we have to also be cognizant of the fact that there has to be a very good balance, so that we don't actually kill the technology by too much of, let's say, restriction with policies. At the same time, also we are, let's say, we have good, let's say, tools or policies in place so that the personal data is protected well.
Very good, rightly said. So Venkat, now let's talk about the positive side of AI. I mean, these are like people now have started understanding what is deep fake. Since the experience is growing, every day people are receiving such videos and messages, so people are kind of hesitant to accept things immediately. So that is one part. Now let's talk about what are the importance. I mean, you cannot I mean, innovation is all about AI now. AI is the future. So, in your industry, how you guys are using AI to make people's life better?
I'm going to stick to the topic of deep fakes here to some extent. But what I would like to, call about is, let's say, the AI as we know it, or deep learning as we know it, has been around for a few years, and it's widely recognized that availability of high quality data is what powers this revolution. But we've also learned in the last couple of years about how the data can be undersampled for certain geographies, and how equality of let's say the data sampling could take place. The different types of spurious relationships that can creep into the data and so on. So the data that we obtain is not perfect. And one of the biggest or the most promising ways that we can actually get out of this is what we call as the synthetic data, especially in low resource constraints like medical imaging. Right. And in this situation, the same technology that powers deepfake also powers the creation of what we call a synthetic data, where we can actually attenuate certain characteristics of the data to the liking that we want. For example, let's say that I have collected a lot of data from the Caucasian countries, and then my data does not have enough representations of Asians and Africans. I could potentially use the same technology to create more of Indian data and so on, and use this to make my AI very fair. And this is identified generally, even in the community, as one of the most promising methods to overcome scarcity, ensure that the AI is equitable, it's more robust to different settings that it's going to encounter in the field and so on. So that's how I look at deepfakes as becoming very, very positive in the larger scheme of things in the next couple of years.
Dilip, what are your thoughts?
I think AI is disrupting everything. Now, if I talk about from my industry perspective, at Vodafone, we are sort of leveraging AI to disrupt everything, ranging from how do you transform customer experience, employee experience, driving productivity, cost and impact. I'll give you some examples. For example, we are leveraging AI to drive end-to-end recruitment, right? Could we make zero cost to recruitment? Absolutely no manpower involved. Another experiment, we are leveraging AI to control laptop and mobile devices through our eyes. Imagine controlling everything through eyes, and this is powered by AI. Coming to the topic, and I think Venkat also did touch upon that, is the power of synthetic data. The same technology, could have, depending on the intent, it could be miscreant, like a deep fake, or it could be, the positive impact, and it could be used to change human lives, something like a hyper-real. I'll give you some examples of this. Now, in education, and this in training for corporates also, I think same technology which is powering deepfake, could it be used to deliver engaging lessons? Imagine a teacher delivering lessons going beyond traditional visual and media formats. Now, deepfake technology could also bring, historians into life. Imagine M.K. Gandhi, talking to students, and the impact it will have in the learning depth it will have in terms of the learner. Or in the gaming industry, a lot of things, AI generated graphics and imagery are speeding up the game development process, and I think NVIDIA recently sort of also demonstrated that. Audio storytelling and book narration is another example. In politics, for example, I think it was, if I'm not wrong, Manoj Tiwari was one of the first MPs globally where he could speak in multiple languages. Imagine I know Hindi and मैं South Indian voter के साथ मैं बात कर पा रहा हूँ in Telugu or Tamil. Imagine the kind of, so you're eliminating language as a barrier. So the same technology which is a boon could be a menace too. It depends on how you sort of use it. While AI would continue to disrupt, I think what's important, where we all would agree, is putting that robust governance framework in terms of an ethical AI. Yeah, those are my thoughts, Manoj.
So Deepu, now you tell us how this AI thing can be helpful to your industry, especially the automobile. I mean, how it's going to drive the growth and innovation in your industry?
Yeah, I think if I talk about AI in general, then there are multiple use cases that definitely helps in automotive industry. I mentioned in the beginning about designing how AI can help. AI can help in also in sales. I mean, you go to a sales center, you don't need a salesman actually. Let's say you can also use deepfake there, because instead of an avatar, a real face is talking to you, and it will have definitely much more impact on that. Now, coming specifically to deepfake in general, I think there are a lot of positive aspects to it also. I think some of the examples are already mentioned, especially in the area of filmmaking, for example. Now you have to create the historical sites or scenes by recreating the entire set. It is very expensive. And now with deepfake, you can create it with much more lesser cost. And also it will expose the filmmakers who do not have access to big budgets. They can also make good films because of deep fakes. And also one more example can be that let's say you want to buy any dress apparel online, and you want to try how it looks like on you. So your face can be put into the model, and then it's a deep fake, but it's you actually. You can see how it looks like. So there can be multiple of good uses of deep fake. I think also Venkat talked about in the medical industry, for example. Let's say AI is also being considered or being used in the treatment of cancer. But unfortunately, we don't have a lot of samples, a lot of pictures today. So deepfake can help in creating actually samples of data, which can be used by the AI to treat the cancer itself. So there can be multiple use cases which AI can, in fact, deepfake can also be impacting in a positive way.
Very good. So Venkat, at the industry level or innovation level, where does India stand today in terms of using the deepfake technology for good of people?
Can I just paraphrase the question just so that I understood it correctly?
So in terms of innovation and as an industry, AI and deepfake, where does India stand in terms of using that for good of people?
Yeah. So I'll answer in two ways. So one of the ways is, let's say, in terms of gross innovation, I think as you're aware, I think US and probably China are, let's say, the leading players in the whole field, and not just in deepfake, but also in AI in general. That's the reality of the situation today. But I think if you leave these two countries and, let's say, Europe as en bloc, maybe not individual countries in Europe, but maybe Europe is obviously as a whole ahead. But I think the third, probably most important player in terms of the number of people who are contributing to AI in general is India. I think a proxy metric of that is, software, right? I mean, at the end of the day, let's say, even though you need a lot of maths to do AI, a bulk of work is still more or less software. And I think I saw a news recently that said India probably is number 2 in terms of number of new projects created on GitHub, and is probably on course to overtake US in the next couple of years and so on. So even in terms of AI, I think the number of institutes that are doing extremely quality work is on the rise, and the number of faculties that are publishing in all the premier conferences like ICLR, CVPR, and so on is on the rise. So every year you go to one of these premier conferences, there's a big contingent of people who have done their work in India. And secondly, I think the more interesting thing is in all the big companies, right? Especially, at least I can talk about the case like GE Healthcare, and all the important AI work and the deepfake work that is happening is based out of Bangalore. A lot of work is based out of Bangalore. So in fact, I'm just happy to tell that one of the first AI products that came out of GE Healthcare. So it is called a Sono CNS, where you have a large 3D volume. You get the right planes out of it in automatic fashion. That came out of, let's say, a lot of component of that came out of Bangalore. Airx, one of the premier products in the MR space in making the MR process automatic, that came out of Bangalore. So I think In terms of the corporate sector, we are right there at the top as a country. So that's it's a great thing that we are a part of this ecosystem here, especially in Bangalore.
Okay, thank you. So Dilip, tell me, as I can understand, a lot of individuals, institutions, they are doing very good work when it comes to innovation through AI or deepfake, using deepfake for, good for the people. As a holistic policy, or are we interacting enough with each other, all these different industries, to benefit out of it? Do we have such a platform in India?
Well, I think, in fact, I've been discussing this question with various forums that I've been part of, and I think that's a thing that we need to address honestly. Now, on one hand, institutes or organizations like NASSCOM, which is the apex body of Indian tech industry, has done a lot of efforts in terms of bringing corporates, education institutes, academia, investors, startup ecosystem, government into policy making, plus creating that ecosystem. But I think we've taken a baby step. In fact, recently, along with NASSCOM, I also launched the Generative AI Foundry, where we are trying to create an ecosystem for startups in terms of mentorship, resources, use cases. But having said that, I think there's still a long way to go. There are fragmented, what I see today from a bird's eye view, especially in India and globally as well, and especially in India, is fragmented pieces of work sort of happening. And I think there's a need for leaders, government to come together and build a framework both on the governance side and also creating that ecosystem where the innovation could thrive, right? From a talent perspective, I see India right there in the top. I day in, day out interact with startups, AI-powered startups, and I see a huge potential. But I think creating that ecosystem, that mentorship, that resources, that connect with organizations, government policies, building a framework on ethical AI, because it's not about, on one hand, we are unleashing a great power, but power without responsibility, without accountability, I think it could go haywire. So I think there is a need to collectively form that ecosystem and a governance framework. So yeah, a lot of work needs to be done there.
So Deepu, as we say, we have a lot of talent in both in technology, innovation, various institutions, as we talked about, that creating that ecosystem. What are those 5-6 things which you believe are very important to take this pool of talent to create a great future for India in terms of AI and deepfake, using the deepfake for again good?
All right. So I think Dilip also touched upon it, that we need to do collaboratively, we need to develop this ecosystem, because we have a lot of talents, we have a lot of knowledge, which is, let's say, across different organizations, different companies. But also there are challenges, because a lot of companies have their data protection laws, or they have the data which they don't want to share. But of course, the knowledge and skill of the employees and can be shared for sure, why not? But we have to create, for example, institutes like NASSCOM can play a very important role in that, because they can, I think they have already started to create an ecosystem where all the talented people from different companies can take part and create something which is which can solve common problems for our country, be it a problem related to environment, be it problem related to, let's say, pollution and all the general causes that we have in our country. But bringing everything together, creating an ecosystem where people can come and contribute, I think that is where we need to focus on.
So finally, I will ask everyone to say something, like if something I've forgotten to touch upon. Venkat, what are your thoughts if I forgot something to touch upon, anything important?
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of us have mentioned, we are in this space that's absolutely very exciting. On one hand, we know that this whole deepfake is here to stay, because that technology that's powering it is what is going to change the future. For example, one of the use cases that I didn't mention previously is, let's say, the generation of new molecules to get the treatments, right? That's also the same technology that's powering deepfake. So technological advancement is going to be there. It's up to us to, up to the governments, especially, to figure out what they're going to do about it. And secondly, I think, especially, I think my request to an organization like NASCOM is to bring together this Indian talent pool, under a homogeneous platform, different stakeholders in it, and ensure that, we meet on a regular basis, and, find a way to get India to right to the top and not just in fragmented segments, right? So that would be my request to you and all the leaders in the assembly here.
Great. So I'll conclude this session with, in two words, that deepfake can be as good as we expect it to be, and it can become as bad as we fear. So hope for the good, and let's try and bring goodness out of everything which is around us. I mean, there'll be always, people with different agenda, different motivation. But as an Indian, as Bharatvarshis, we all want our country to grow further and go ahead. So with such a great talent of pool, let's focus on the positive aspects of deepfake and AI and use it for the betterment of great India. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining this podcast.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Manoj.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Manoj.
Thanks,
And what an
Manoj, and
extremely
thanks,
well
Naman.
placed panel we have. Well, and Deepu, thank you for great insights. Right, the talent part that you mentioned to you touched upon is actually the need of the hour. There is no shortage of talent, I believe. Right, and Rahul, thank you so much for brushing our knowledge on AI. AI use cases, and particularly touching upon the part that Bangalore being the AI hub of the country, right? And Dilip, thanks for sharing so many insight stories. And actually, I can also relate to the stock recommendation that you mentioned. So, regarding the deepfake part. So, thank you once again. We'll now move to the second session, second edition, which is the startup pitches. Can we have the presenters on the screen, please? Perfect, perfect. So as you can see, we have five innovative startups who will be talking about their solution. So the best part about today's pitching is two of our startups are actually, working on deepfake detection, whereas the rest of the startups are actually working on creating deepfakes. Well, that's the beauty of this session, right? We'll start with our first startup for the day. We have the CEO of startup called Kroop AI, right? Dr. Jyoti Joshi. She's joining us from Australia right now, and they are in the news for all the good reasons, I would say, because right now I can see that we have a recent news by INC 42. They say how Kroop AI is on a mission to free the world from the deepfake pandemic, right? Exciting article, interesting article. So, Dr. Jyoti, over to you. You're on mute.
Thank you, Naman. Thank you very much. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, loud and clear.
Great. Is my screen up?
Yes, we can see that synthetic media and deepfake detection. Yes.
Great. All right. First of all, thank you very much for the great panel discussion. I think now the topic doesn't really need any sort of introduction, so I can just jump right into the capabilities that we have and how from the technology bit we can do and help in fighting the menace that deepfake have caused. So still I will take you through both the sides, because we have been listening that how AI has the good sides and the bad sides. So I'll be covering up both the aspects since we have the solutions to cover both the areas. So we understand what synthetic media is. So leveraging AI when we're generating any sort of content that sort of falls in that category, and it sort of extends to medical imaging as well. But what I'm going to talk about is that what is synthetically generated, which is completely using AI when we generate it. And then if we manipulate the existing media using the same technology, that sort of falls under the category of deepfakes. So we have been using the term deepfake locally for almost any sort of generated stuff as well. But I think there's a negative connotation that is attached to it. So we sort of try to keep things separate. That the ethically generated content that sort of falls in completely generated bracket, and then the content which is actually manipulated is where we have used deep learning and tried to create a fake, and it sort of becomes a fake media or deepfakes as we like to call it. So starting with the synthetically generated, completely generated content. So what we have to offer is the tool which is called the RT. So it's an AI or a web-based studio which will let you generate AI videos with talking avatars. So as we had some of the panelists talking about that, how we can just use text or script, and that becomes the input, and you can create videos where people are actually talking different languages. So quite literally, you require no setup, no camera, no mic, nothing, simply text, and then the video is generated. And so this is how the interface of our web studio looks like, where you have the choice of different avatars, different ethnicity, male and female, and you can choose different voices, different languages, and then you can simply enter in text. And then there are certain other advanced AI options as well, where you can, if you are not very sure of what exactly the content of an abstract idea is, then you can have generate the entire content, entire script also with our tool here. And also, if you do not have the relevant images or the videos to go in the background, using AI, we can do semantic search on the content, the script, and can give you the recommendations on the background that can go with the your video, so that it becomes much more engaging content. So once all these choices are made, simply enter in here, and then you can simply generate, and the videos are generated. It's as simple as that, generating any sort of content using AI now. Now, what are the different practical use cases? One is, of course, you can create hyper-personalized multilingual content that will enable you to generate these videos much faster and with much cheaper rates, which certainly will increase outreach, helps in sales, helps in marketing, and whatnot. So I'm going to give you some of the demo videos here, which we have run with our clients, that how in different ways people have been deploying this technology. So first example is from one of the leading private insurance company in India. And this message is from their CXO, which is reaching out to their different agents. So the communication need not to be to the end person, though they can be different stakeholders. So this is where the internal communication comes in, where a CXO is reaching out to different agents and is sort of encouraging them to meet their goals. So there are different brackets of people. Some are doing well, some are not doing so well. So accordingly, the message is tailored, and all of that is happening through AI. So then there are different personalization that can be enabled. For example, if Jyoti is receiving a message and she's working from in Mumbai zone and she has a set target, then she'll be receiving this message: Jyoti, you've been doing great. Now the time, this is your target. You're sitting in Mumbai branch and whatnot. So this is the power of AI, where you can use that and create these hyper personalized messages and reach out to different customers and different stakeholders. Is my audio there? Sorry, I didn't check the audio button. Is it there, Raman?
No, can't hear anything.
Yeah, just give me a moment. And
maybe you can write it.
Jyoti, just to include computer sound when you share the screen.
Sure, if it's gonna play, but let's give it a go and then see.
Hi Sanjay, I am Aman San.
Yes, we can hear it. Yes.
Non-persistency performance.
So okay, we probably missed the personalization part, but I'll just play the other one.
Hi Shailendra, I am Amal Shan. I want to inform you about your 13-month persistency performance in the month of December.
So yeah, so this is an AI avatar of the CXO. I think as the panel has been discussing about how you can create the likeness, a digital likeness, or a digital twin, or a digital avatar, whatever you want to call it, by giving in certain amount of data, and that's what we have done here. And then of course you can multiply and send those messages to different people. And this is another example where we have used a celebrity to reach out to different stakeholders.
चमकेगी सबकी किस्मत. Join me and countless others for the world's largest jewelry festival. PM Shah Jewelers, Chira Bazaar, Marine Line से jewelry खरीदो और जीतो ढेर सारे prizes. IJSF Jewelers.
So that is where it's endorsing a particular locality to sort of go and shop. So this is also a form of personalization that can be done. So this sort of comes in the marketing side of things. So think of it this way, that this is where AI or generative AI is being used, or deepfakes are being used to transform the way we actually communicate. So the communication is done in a very, very different way. And I have another example to showcase.
Hi Sanjay,
Where we are deploying this our technology to make interactive AI agents, and that becomes very handy when the human agents there's a scarcity of human agents, or they're not available due to time constraints, or they're just busy talking to other users, and that's where the queries can be directed and handled by AI agents. And this is one of the things that we're rolling out with one of the pharma companies.
Hi Naveen, I am your AI buddy, your breed-free digital educator for today's session. I will show you the right way to use your inhaler. I believe you are here to know how to use a PMDI. Am I correct? This is a PMDI. I hope you have your PMDI with you right now.
So there are different ways the interaction can happen. What we are seeing just now is where the user wants to input through the clicks or text-based input, but we can also sort of have a voice input as well. So again, this is where the interaction will be done in a different way. Now, moving forward to the deepfake side of the thing. So, and just concluding on the generation side, so these are very few of the use cases that I could just showcase, but certainly are not limited to, and I'm happy to kind of explore the requirements that the listeners that we have here, because we have been catering to different industries, different use cases. The core technology remains the same. It's just that tweaking that to fit your needs. Sometimes it's communication, sometimes it has been an edtech company where an engaging video can be created for an educator. So a lot can happen in that space, and I'm happy to be reached out for that. Now, moving forward to the deepfake side of things. So we have heard a lot about it, so we know what they are. The manipulated content without the consent, where somebody is impersonated to do or say something which they have not done in real. They sort of fall in this category. There are different ways in which deepfakes can be created. Largely what we have been seeing is face swapping. When let's say Taylor Swift or Rashmika Mandana one that we're discussing. So that is where somebody else's face is, like a celebrity face is put on a source image or video. Then facial enactment can happen. The videos that Naman showed us in the beginning, so those were all facial enactment, where the lip movement is brought in sync with the new audio. That's where the entire meaning of the video changes. And so there are different ways the deepfakes can be created, and they can affect different areas. So stock markets, financial frauds can happen, identity theft can happen, and whatnot. Now, what are the different solutions? I think Dilip sort of put in very nicely that how we can, start with educating people. So we have, different drives to let people know how to spot these differences, whether around the lip area, or maybe to see sometimes what happens in the when deepfakes are created, the pupil eye, the color, that sort of is changed. So sometimes there are different colors of the eye that we see, and there are different other examples. But the way the technology is evolving and how the realism is coming in the AI generated content, it is becoming incredibly difficult to actually just tell by looking at it, and that's where we require certain tools in place. And what we do at Group is also offer a deepfake detection tool that will enable you to distinguish between what's fake and what's real by giving you a probability of the likeness of it being real versus fake. And I'm just going to take you, so we have discussed all these different points. I'm not going to go and deliberate into these, and actually want to show you that how the detector works. One of the USP of our detector is that the data that we trained on is created in-house. Because when we started off creating the detector, there are very few databases that are available for benchmarking deepfake detection. And one initial one was from Meta, which is called DFTC. And when we started to use that, what we realized that it was highly biased towards the Caucasian population. So to deploy that in Indian demography, we started to curate a lot of data, and that's how our detector, that sort of is a key thing to make detector work better. And also not just including the data of Indian demographic, but also curating high quality deepfakes so that which is fed to our detector so that the performance is also achieved high. So I'm just going to play this. It will show you that how this particular video is curated, and then how the probability of the fake is given. So this is basically the probability score that is given to tell if the image or the video is real.
Jyoti, almost time. You need to quickly wind it up.
Yes, that's my final slide, Naman. So the one I showcased was on the video, and this is where you can actually access that on our website as well, where you can upload any image, and it sort of runs in the background and tells you if it's real or fake. And we sort of saw that for Kajol, one of the Indian Bollywood actress, which the fake was circulating. And then not just that, we also provide deeper analytics into it. And this is where you can...
I am not Morgan Freeman. And what you see is not real.
Time.
Well, at least in contemporary terms, it is not.
Right. So basically what I wanted to highlight here is that if deeper analytics into that particular video or segment is needed, that where exactly the probability of fake is higher, then we also provide that analytics, and not just in the time-wise scenario, but also in the spatial region. For example, if it's like I mentioned about the different ways fakes can be created. If it's a face swap, then we'll see the probability of having that zag around the facial boundary would be higher. If it's only enactment happening, it's the same person, let's say Joe Biden was the same person, only the lips were moving, then the probability of the lip region being manipulated is going to be higher. So we also can localize that in the spatial region as well. So with that, I'm just going to finish, and thank you for your time. Happy to be connected with you on LinkedIn, and ready to take questions if there are any.
Thank you so much, Jyoti. So we can take questions on the chat pod, right? And also quickly just keeping you posted. So we ran a poll on your pitch, and you have scored a decent 4.2 out of 5, right? Which is a good sign. So we'll move to and thank you once again. Probably anyone who wants to connect with Jyoti, you can reach out to her LinkedIn profile, or you can reach out to us. We'll be happy to introduce you to her, right? So moving on, we have our next speaker. We have the Indian Deepfaker. And they are again in the news for all the good reasons. They are actively engaged, super packed with the election season coming up. Can we have Devendra on the screen, please? The Indian Deepfaker.
Hello, hello.
Divyen. Hi, Divyen. Hi, good to see you. Over to you, Divyen. You know what to do, right? Over to you.
Sure. So everything has been said by the previous panelists. So I'll start with the videos. I'll share my screen. Just.
So while you pull up your screen, can you help us explain about the name, the Indian Deepfaker? Are you the only Deepfaker?
So there are so many deepfakers out there, and actually I was not into any kind of deepfake stuff or anything, but during my childhood days I used to swap faces using Photoshop and images. And one day when during lockdown, one of my friends showed me a video of Black Eyed Peas. So it is a music video, and the name is Action. So it was the first time when I get to know about this technology, and he swapped the faces of himself onto other scenes of South Indian movies. And that time I was so fascinated that these things can be done on videos as well. And from that day I started learning it, and I just started posting on Instagram, and then I soon started getting clients for film industry. So basically I was creating this for film industry and advertisement industry. So
all right, over to you.
So let me start. What are services? Basically, let me tell you. So we are providing some different services. We started with film industry, solving problems of film industry, and then we shifted to political scenario as well. So we are providing 4 to 5 different services currently. One is the personalized messaging, hyper personalized messaging, and the second one is conversational AI agent. The third one is the language translation. We are providing language translation, AI powered language translation with lip sync and voice cloning in 117 languages. We are also doing real time translation. So let's start. I have 10 minutes, so I'll try to complete it within 10 minutes. Yeah. So
प्यारे मोहित जैन, मेरे प्यारे मनोज भगत, मेरे प्यारे अभिषेक सैमसन, मेरे प्यारे भगवान चौहान, मैं आपको दिवाली की शुभकामनाएं देना चाहता हूं।
Biggest democratic election, marathon election, another undertaking. The world's biggest exercise in democracy.
So this was the personalized messaging example, that how the leader can shoot once and send large-scale videos to people. So currently, we are doing this for political workers only, not the voters. And this is the second example.
Real Trump, hey Vibhuti, hey Sohail, hey Rudravir from Firecracker Productions. This year be filled with new adventures, amazing opportunities, and unforgettable memories. Here's to a year of good health, abundant happiness, and endless success. दीपक, तुम क्या कर रहे हो? मैं तुम्हें एक अच्छा नागरिक होने के लिए बधाई देना चाहता हूं। नागरिक होने के लिए मैं
This is not real me.
So now there is a big problem in film industry, which is ADR plus video dubbing. So we were trying to solve that, and in ADR, so it's automatic dialogue replacement we are doing, and this is an example of language translation plus ADR plus voice cloning. So we have taken a short 4-second clip from a movie, Dear Zindagi, and we have tried to implement that.
The words are not mine. This is a demo sample created by Vision Dub to showcase the technology for demo purposes. Don't believe everything you see online in this era of AI. Etat vastavikam nastimam shabda mam na santi. Etat demo prayojanartham pradyogikim pradarshaitum Vision Dub dwara nirmitam demo namuna asti. இது உண்மையானது நான் அல்ல, வார்த்தைகள் என்னுடையது அல்ல. இது டெமோ நோக்கங்களுக்காக தொழில்நுட்பத்தை வெளிப்படுத்த விஷன் டப். الكلمات ليست لي، هذه عينة تجريبية تم إنشاؤها بواسطة فيجن دب لعرض التكنولوجيا لأغراض العرض. 안녕 모두들, 이것은 샤룩 칸이 가상 아바타입니다. 이것은 실제가 아닙니다. 단어는 내 것이 아닙니다. 이것은 데모 목적으로 기술을 보여주기 खरामी नाही शब्द माझे नाही. हे डेमोच्या उद्देशाने तंत्रज्ञानाचे प्रदर्शन करण्यासाठी व्हिजन डबद्वारे तयार केलेला डेमो नमुना आहे.
Now let's delve into.
Now this was about the video dubbing and translation. Now we are developing a platform where the user can upload the video and get the translation. So let me explain that as well. So this is our virtual avatar. This is not ours. This is AI generated, and it is we have done this with an existing video. So this is just for a demo purpose. We have watermarked it as well.
Into what makes our platform a game changer in global communication.
Firstly, our language capabilities are unmatched. While others like Hazen offer 28 languages, we break barriers with 100 plus languages, including ancient languages like Sanskrit, Greek, Latin, and a rich array of Indian regional languages. In our program, users have the power to upload videos and choose from this extensive language list and much more controls, connecting and resonating with audiences worldwide. We are expecting the former president to address the impeachment, and so that might be the settling scores. Our functionality goes further. Once uploaded, the videos undergo a seamless transformation, offering precise controls like transcription of the video. This feature automatically converts spoken words in a video into written text. When a user uploads a video, the AI analyzes the audio and generates a transcript of all the spoken content. It allows users to see and edit the text that corresponds to the spoken parts of the video. Automatic dialogue replacement, or ADR, editing the transcribed text. This means they can modify, replace, or enhance the spoken content in the video. It gives users full control over the spoken content, ensuring that the final audio aligns perfectly with their intended message or narrative. Translation functionality. This feature translates the transcribed text into a selected language. It allows for the creation of multilingual versions of the video, making the content accessible to a global audience. And the option for cloned voice audio generation. The platform applies advanced voice cloning technology to generate the audio in the chosen language.
Esperamos que el expresidente aborde el impeachment y esa podría ser la parte del discurso del ajuste de cuentas, hablar sobre el futuro del Partido Republicano. Cómo ve el futuro del movimiento con
applications like podcasts, audiobooks, and much more. After voice cloning, the users can click on process video to get complete transcription.
Esperamos que el expresidente aborde el impeachment y esa podría ser la parte del discurso del ajuste de cuentas, pero me dijeron que también va a...
Now, this is the conversational AI agent. It's a two-way communicating agents, and it can be used in different sectors. Currently, we are also trying to deploy it in political scenario.
Hello, who's this?
Hey there, this is Becky from Indian Deepfaker. How's your day going?
Yeah, it's going great. Yeah.
I'm calling to introduce you our AI-driven services at Indian Deepfaker, including video dubbing, translation with voice cloning, real-time audio translation in 100 languages, and de-aging campaigns. Are you interested in learning more, setting up a demo call?
Yeah, I would like to explore in a demo call, but first we are a marketing agency.
Video dubbing can help you reach a wider audience by creating alternative marketing content. It can also help in localizing your campaigns for different regions.
So this is kind of example for a conversational AI agent, and every call is recorded. It can be transcribed, and then it can be filtered out based on different questions. So currently we are doing it for political scenario as well as other customer things. And this is the thing how we started. And so this is we have been creating deepfakes and de-aging campaigns for film industry, advertisement industry. This is one of our demo samples that we have created with an actress.
అప్పుడు నేను ఒక చిన్న టౌన్ అమ్మాయిని. నేను గొప్పగా ఉండాలి నా కుటుంబంతో సహా. అప్పుడే నాకు అర్థమైంది కోరుకోవడం వల్ల ఏది అవ్వదు, ఎంచుకోవడం వల్లే ఏదైనా సాధ్యమని. అందుకే నేను ఎంచుకోవడం ప్రారంభించాను. నేను వినోదాల కంటే చెమటను ఎంచుకున్నాను.
So Divyan, what if correct me if I'm wrong. So what you have done here is, so there was actually a different model, and you have face swapped it to the actress's face, right?
So we have transformed her face into an 8-year-old version of her and 17-year-old version of her. And similar thing we did with the Ayushmann Khurrana in a way quick ad. We created 2 ads where we transformed him into a kid version of him.
So before you proceed, just one quick question. Is this everything, whatever you are building and all the algorithm and the software, is this in-house or are you using some open source platform
So
to do it?
most of the programs are open source. Currently, we are the integrators. We integrate different components. We collect different components from different open source things. And the thing that we are doing, we are training it our own. We are training it on our own data. So we are collecting. Basically, we are collecting a high quality data, and most of the things are open source currently. Yeah.
Fine. Please go on.
And this is the last one. Actually, we are doing a lot more than this, but in this time frame, we can only show this. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right. Thank you, Divyendra. Almost on time. So in the next 30 seconds, can you quickly talk about, are you working on some government projects as well? Because I read somewhere that you are working closely with the governments as well. So can you, if allowed, can you talk about some of the projects quickly?
Yeah. So currently, we are not directly connected with the political parties. It's the PR agencies and the political consultants that reach out to us. And so basically, what we are doing is all the political parties, they are trying to integrate AI into their existing system of political campaigns. So they want to try out different things. And what we are providing is personalized messaging. Currently, we are doing that for only political workers. Because see, if you consider politics as a company, it's the only company in the world where its employees are working for free. There is no other company in the world that employees are working for free. The only thing that they need is the recognition from their political leader. And for the political leader, it's not possible to address each and every political worker. And it's the hard work of political workers that makes the party win in these situations. So we are doing this personalized messaging. So a politician can send personalized messages to voters. The second thing is the conversational AI agent that we are talking about, and we are putting language translation into it. And this thing, see, earlier there is no way to address the local issues of each voter. There was no data how government can get the data from each voter. So government can, like political parties can send millions of calls to the people. It's real time, and it can say it will be in the voice of the leader itself, but he'll be saying that I'm an AI generated avatar of this leader. What may I talk? And he'll be taking your name, because this is the most important thing that we love, your name. So suppose they used to do automated calls. So currently we are doing personalizing, and it will ask your local issues. What are your local issues? What are your suggestions to the government? And all this data can be transcribed, recorded, and they can search using semantic search. What are the data? And they make schemes according to that. Yeah.
Got it. Exciting times ahead. Thank you so much, Divyendra. Thank you. With this, we move to our next speaker. We have Shubham Jain joining us from Chennai. He's a founder and director of XR Vision, a company experts in making deepfakes. Shubham, can we please have you on the screen and...
Hello. Hi. Can you hear me well and see
Loud
me?
and clear, Shubham. Yes. Over to you. Go on.
Perfect. Right. Thank you, Naman, and hello everyone. So it's been a great conversation, and I mean, just to give a disclaimer. So the last two startups, Group AI and the Indian Deepfaker, I've seen their work offline, like outside the teams. So I've seen how incredible their work is, and but the problem with Teams is that it lags. Like when you screen share, it lags. And with deepfakes, like how the CEO of Group AI mentioned that the quality of deepfake, you see it only when how you see how good the lips move. So because of Teams, you cannot see that today. But yeah, I would urge everybody to go check out all the startups' works offline so that you can really see our quality. So with that, I'll start with my presentation. And while everyone was showing deepfakes of celebrities and politicians, I took the time today, while the meeting was going on, while the Teams was going on, I created a deepfake of our very own celebrity, Naman Kothari from NASCA. And this was done just now, like while the meeting was ongoing. And I'll just start with a video of that first, and then I'll go on with my presentation.
Our next speaker is a visionary in the world of augmented reality and AI-powered virtual experiences. Please join me in welcoming Shubham Jain, the founder and CEO of XR Vision. Shubham Jain is at the forefront of revolutionizing how we experience the digital world, particularly in industries such as museums, real estate, and tourism. His company, XR Vision, specializes in creating immersive, lifelike virtual environments that are powered by artificial intelligence. Shubham's journey began with a passion for video games and a background in architecture. Combining these interests, he saw the potential to create 3D digital environments that could benefit businesses across various sectors. Without further ado, over to you now, Shubham.
Well, thank you, Naman, for that wonderful introduction, and it is nice to be here. So I guess this is how you could also use deepfakes, but I hate to call it deepfakes, so I call them AI avatars. And like if we probably had more time today, we would have we could have asked questions to Naman's avatar here, and he would have responded. So that is exactly what we do at XR Vision. We create AI avatars that you can have real-time conversation with. And these avatars can be used for various use cases, various industries. It could be like a presentation like this, where I'm saving Naman's time and creating his deepfake, his AI avatar that talks about each startup. Or it could be an AI avatar of a sales agent that's taking you around a real estate apartment. Or it could be of a factory visit or a tourism site or a museum. So these are all the industries that we are covering, and I'll go one by one through my presentation. Now, since Naman's avatar gave such a wonderful description about my startup and myself, I'm going to skip through the about us slide and dive right into the examples. So this is where we have our expertise combined. Like, we not only focus on the AI avatar, but we also focus on the virtual environment. So XR is all about creating, physical and blurring the lines between physical and virtual. And what we do over here is we create a 3D environment and have an AI avatar inside it. That could be of a real person like Naman, or it could be just an AI generated image or a 3D avatar that can talk about that space. So you go into that environment and you have specific questions that you can ask. For example, this we did for a real estate developer. And as you can see on the left is what the input we got from this real estate developer. So they are trying to sell this apartment in Chennai. And so before the construction, their goal is to, of course, complete the sales before the construction is over. And today the traditional method is like they have all marketing materials like videos, images, 360-degree tours to share it with the client, and the client goes through all of that information. And but at times the client still has some specific questions that they want to ask. But since it's just one-way communication, they're only consuming information. They can't ask their questions. For that, they need to book an appointment, visit the site, and then ask their questions. So to replace all those materials like those images, videos, 360-degree tours, we just created one link that you can click on, and you're directly inside that virtual house. So you don't download any app for this. You're directly loading that house inside your mobile browser, your tablet, or your computer. You're inside that house. You can navigate wherever you want, and there's an AI sales agent that you can ask questions about. So, and to give an idea of what the client gave us is a very basic SketchUp model like this, which any real estate developer has today. And they just give us information about that apartment, which they want the avatar to learn about. It's like training a new sales employee. So we just feed all that data and train the AI avatar with. So this video on the right is me walking through that virtual environment of this house and asking questions to this AI avatar. And all of this is real time.
Welcome to Jane's Antariaksh, located in Perundi, Chennai. We offer a range of luxurious apartments. How can I assist you today?
Hi, can you tell me more about this unit?
Of course. This is a 3-bedroom unit with a carpet area of 1,700 square feet, providing ample space for comfortable living. Is there anything specific you are looking for in terms of amenities or features?
How is this unit priced?
the price range starts at rupees 10,000 per square feet. However, to provide you with the most accurate and up-to-date information, could you please share your contact and our sales team will get in touch with you?
So you see, our AI avatar is not just spitting out information, but it's interactive. Like you can ask your questions, and at the same time, the avatar is also asking you questions so that it can learn about you, it can understand what your requirement is, and the conversation gets tailored accordingly. And also the client, the real estate developer, wants to know some specific information about the client. Like for example, they want to know what my budget is, what my mobile number is, and all of that information is being questioned by the avatar to the user, and all of that data gets stored in the backend so that the developer can use it in their own way. So anyway, like also disclaimer, we are not here to replace real human and real experiences. This is more of a first-hand experience it's a more of a first-hand experience that you get to give to your client, and it's convenient. It can happen in multiple languages. You don't download an app, and all of this is in real time without the need of booking an appointment. And the best part about it, it's definitely with my generation and the next generation that you feel more comfortable inside virtual environments. Like you can ask your questions, let it be silly or anything, but you're comfortable to ask your questions. So you kind of tend to shoot all those questions and get your information. Now, what I've shown you is for something that's unbuilt, so it's a 3D environment, but versus for something, let's say, which is already built. Let's say you have a physical space. Now, when you have a physical space, we can come in there and record physical space with just videos and images and convert those videos into a 3D model. So let's say what would take probably months of time for, let's say we did this for a manufacturing unit in Chennai. So if we had to create a 3D environment of this environment, like you can look at the clothing, the machinery, the posters, these ceiling lights. I mean, there's so much going on in this space. And if we had to manually create a 3D of the space, it would take months of time. Versus what we do is just within a few days, we just go into the space, we record a video and convert it into a 3D model. Now again, this is me walking around the space and interacting with the AI avatar.
Hello and welcome to the laundry unit of the Garment Factory. We have the latest wash expertise and can execute different wash effect from denim to any innovative process, including garment dyeing and special vintage finishes.
How many garments can you wash in a day?
We can wash over 10,000 pieces in a day. Is there anything else you would like to know?
So this was really useful for the client because all the clients were from they were all international clients, and they can't really visit the factory physically, and most of the clients are from Europe, so they all speak different languages. So they kind of get a first-hand information about the factory. They get to see the machinery. They ask about they ask various questions like what is your capacity? Do you have certificates? Do you have these do you have these approvals? So we basically get a complete information about the factory versus just looking at images and videos and trying to decide if they should give $1 million order to this particular factory. Now, so all of these, whatever I showed initially were virtual experiences. Now, what we have also done in-person experiences. Let's say you are at a physical space, whether a museum or a touristic site. We can create these avatars again that you can converse with, and those could be paintings, 3D sculptures. For example, this is a painting at the Met Museum in New York, which we digitized recently. Now, when you go to a museum today, they just give you like a audio guide, right? Like you just put on your headphones and then you press the play button, and they just give you a pre-recorded audio of what that painting is about, and probably that's mostly in English. So what we've done here is we've made the painting come to life, and you can literally talk to these paintings, something like what you've seen in Harry Potter.
Welcome, dear visitors. I am the creation of Johannes Vermeer. My deep black background sets me apart, emphasizing the girl's vulnerability and trust in your gaze. Notice how light plays on my colors, revealing the significance of every detail, meant to captivate connoisseurs. I invite you to ponder the girl's thoughts, emotions, and character. Did she pose for me, or am I a product of Vermeer's imagination? The answer lies within your curiosity.
Who are you? Are you real?
I'm not a real person. I'm a fictional character captured in this painting. I am an embodiment of a tronie, a term from the Dutch language referring to a portrait featuring an expressive or distinctive face or costume.
You
The
need to wind up in 2 minutes, right?
portrayed tronies of young women, much like the renowned girl with a pearl earring.
Additionally, to those paintings, we also help people, people, let's say if you're looking at a plain Greek statue and you want to reimagine what the original structure looks like, and not everybody has imagination. So by just listening to audio, by reading text, you can't imagine what the original sculpture used to look like. So we also help reimagining that, and the sculpture also talks.
Greetings, seekers of art and history. I am Night, the living embodiment of triumph.
And similarly, we've done this in the, you can also be utilized in the tourism space. So this is like a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Welcome to the virtual tour of the Shore Temple in Mahabalipuram. I'm here to be your guide. How can I assist you today?
So, can you tell me a bit more about its history?
Absolutely.
All the audio and
the Shore Temple is a magnificent structure located in Mahabalipuram, a UNESCO World Heritage Site in Tamil Nadu. It was built during the 7th century AD, during the reign of the Pallava dynasty. The temple is dedicated to Lord Shiva and is one of the oldest
There is a video and
structural
audio
stone
also, and
temples
you are
in
also
South
speaking,
India.
so there is a mixed sound that is coming out.
Sorry.
But I think you can just wind it up in next 60 seconds now.
Okay, I thought I would show a live demo, but then I guess we don't have the time. Maybe anybody who's interested later, I could give them a live demo of a AI conversation. And in terms of the people that we've worked with from various industries, again from Sega, that's a gaming company, Snapchat, so social media, Macy's, a retailer based in New York, BMW, Decentraland, Polygon, and we've also been privileged to be featured by some of the top leading publications like Forbes, Wall Street Journal, Business Insider, and
All
yes,
right.
this is all about us.
We can see all the big names right there. But before that, Shubham, I need to be, really well compensated for the deepfake that you created of mine, right? And
I took your permission before. Yeah, that's something I did not share. I took Naman's permission before doing this.
And also, you are leading that poll race by a good margin of 4.8, which is a good sign. So people liked your pitch and the deepfake. Right. With this, we move to our next speaker.
Is this genuine or deepfake?
It is a genuine deepfake. I'd like to put it that way. It's all AI. That's why I call it AI avatars.
No, I was just asking Naman, is this Naman actually speaking, or is it a deepfake?
No, that's the deepfake that he just recorded and created up. And he just messaged me that
the current one, like he's asking
the current one. Okay. So I'm the original.
Just kidding.
One.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
The original one. Right. Thank you. So all right. So with this Neural Garage, we have Shubrata from Neural Garage. Shubrata, he's joining us from Dubai.
Yes. Hello. So I would need. I thought I would.
You have all the access. You have all the access. Yes.
I'll be joining in from one more account. Just give me a minute.
Sure. And after this, we have one more pitch of Spoof Sense.
Hello everyone. Am I audible?
There's an echo in the sound, but I think you can go on.
Yeah. Hello everyone. This is Shubha Protha from Neural Garage. and we have created some proprietary technology in the media and entertainment segment. So let me start with the way the world is going now. During COVID times, we saw a large escalation of localization of content. So essentially what happens is right now, content is created in one language and then it is dubbed into multiple languages for consumption into multiple markets. And the main reason that this consumption happens is that currency of commerce right now is localization. For example, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning was shot in only English, but dubbed into 35 plus languages globally so that it can be consumed in other markets. Since Money Heist, most of us are right now have less inhibitions towards consuming Spanish content. Similar is with the Korean content post Squid Games. So just to give you some statistics, over 5,000 films produced globally last year, and all of them were dubbed in over 10 plus languages. But dubbed content has one small issue with it. Hence, even some people right now, even now prefer subtitle content. That is, dubbed content doesn't look original because what you see and what you hear are not the same. The audio and visual cues, they do not align because the actors keep speaking in their own language while what you hear them is the language that you are consuming them in. So now imagine if you could have a solution where a movie which is shot in one language can be consumed in any language of your choice, but the actors now will speak in the language visually of whatever dubbed audio you choose. For example, Mission Impossible, let's say you're consuming it in Bihari or even in Odia. I would just give one visual example for this. This is one of our latest work for Ultratech Cement, where Mr. Shah Rukh Khan was a celebrity, and he has only shot this advertisement in Hindi. And we have recreated this advertisement entirely in English, just using his dubbed voice. So as we saw, the English version was completely recreated. Of course, we had to take permissions of everyone involved in the value chain. That is the production house, which is Red Chillies in this case, Mr. Shah Rukh Khan himself. But this ultimately benefits everyone in the value chain if proper permissions is taken. For, let's say, a creative agency, they can offer more value to their production houses. For production houses, you can now create multiple original IPs using one IP. For example, if you remember Rocketry, the South Indian IPs, I think Tamil and Telugu, they were sold to Prime, while Voot had the IP for Hindi. So you can sell it to different markets. For the actors, this allows them to connect better with the audience. You won't have, let's say, a South Indian movie star or a Spanish movie star. It enables them to become global. Obviously, they get a slice of the cake as well, because if, let's say, they come for a reshoot, it costs them much more. The entire cost of production which is required for reshoot definitely is much more. So right now the creative process which is followed is a movie which is generally shot in one creative language. It is dubbed in multiple markets, and then each of these dubbed files, the audio files, they are sold to different vendors. For example, if you go to Netflix and choose Family Man, you would probably see, I think, 7 or 8 languages inside your region. But if you go to Canada, you might see much more dubbed files available because those are more relevant to those regions. And similar is with advertisements. In India, primarily, most of the ads are shot in Hindi, around 95% of them. And then they are dubbed to generally 7 regional languages: Gujarati, Marathi, Malayalam, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Bengali, and then put in those markets. But with the power of this technology, all these ads can now become original ads, which have not only been dubbed, but also been visually shot in those languages. It can connect better with these, with the audience there. The technology that we have used here in the backend is something called a phoneme Vizine map. This is actually inspired by something which Disney used to do many years ago. Essentially, whatever language we speak, you have a very unique lip movement if you break the language down into smaller phonetic segments. For example, if I say the word person, at per, I have to always close my lips. And this is language agnostic. If I say the word in Hindi, let's say pehla, again, I have to close my lips. So if you can learn it at that segmented level, then you can move across languages, because now you're learning on human sounds. And every language is actually a combination of human sounds. So this phoneme-viseme mapping allows us to not only change the lips, but also the entire jaw region, including the smile lines, upper part of the neck, cheeks, etc. One of the big advantages of Visual Dub is that it is screen agnostic. We can even run on movie halls. It retains absolute the highest quality of input video that is there. The main challenge that we faced here is that most of the state-of-the-art models, let's say a stable diffusion model, for example, they are great at creating new content. If you give, let's say, a prompt, or if you give an image, they'll create a new video. But if you want to retain everything that was there in the original video, it requires large amount of compute. And because of that, it took us about a couple of years for making this solution available to the market. But right now, proudly, we can say that even our solution has been run on movie halls. Still runs on 4K TVs. We have been fortunate to onboard 14 large global clients. Amazon India is a regular client. Wipro, Microsoft US, Coca-Cola, Britannia, etc. Among them, I Am Buddha is a post-production studio, which was a post-production studio for the movie Vaccine War. And our solution was used for the Tamil and Telugu trailers, which actually ran on movie halls. So this year we are in talks with post-production companies and movie studios who essentially would be helping us for our go-to-market into OTT platforms as well. So this is in just what Visual Dub is. So don't just up Visual Dub.
Thank you so much, Shubhrata. Very, very neat and crisp pitch. Thank you. Looking forward to getting more details and talking to you soon offline once you're back. So with this, we move to our last speaker of the day. We have Karthike from Spoof Sense. They are working on deepfake detection.
Hi. Hi, Naman. Sorry, I won't be using my camera. There's some difficulty with my webcam.
Sure. No problem.
So I'll resort to mic and my screen.
Please go on. Yes.
Awesome. Just a second. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
And please also confirm if you're able to hear the audio in the video. Just a second. Is it audible?
No. Can't hear anything. So you need to enable the sound.
Okay, just a second.
Reshare and okay.
Just a second. Yeah, I'll just try again.
In 2023, the digital
Perfect, yes.
unprecedented challenge. Deepfake fraud skyrocketed by 3,000%. Identifying deepfakes has become increasingly challenging. Today's advanced generative AI lets fraudsters create real-looking identity attacks, impossible to detect with a human eye. Introducing Spoof Sense Face. From a simple printed photo attack to advanced deepfakes, Spoof Sense Face detects a wide range of facial identity attacks with high precision in less than 2 seconds. Using advanced computer vision, Spoof Sense Face differentiates deepfakes from genuine users using just a single selfie, making user experience frictionless. A versatile API, deployable on cloud or on premises, ensures utmost data protection and user privacy. In the age of deepfakes, where seeing may be deceiving, Spoof Sense offers businesses a foundation of trust, protecting against frauds that the human eye might miss. It's not just a tool, it's an assurance.
So we are Spoof Sense and we're solving identity fraud. Talking about identity fraud, the most used biometric by 2025 will be face recognition. All of us have phones, all of us have front cameras, and face recognition has become a very important biometric to match faces for various online activities like online transactions, doing your video KYCs, verifying yourself on dating apps, etc. But the problem with face recognition algorithms is that it is just trained to match two similar looking faces. by that I mean it cannot differentiate between the mode of the presentation of the face. So these faces that you see, these are my faces, but only the first one is actually me standing behind the camera. The other faces are my spoofs, which are presentations on paper, on a digital screen, or using a Gen AI avatar. So face recognition algorithms will think that all these faces are of the same person, and it will result in a successful face match, which is actually a big problem because this loophole is exploited by fraudsters to carry out identity theft. And this is what we are solving at SpoofSense. So SpoofSense detects whether the photograph or whether the face in a photograph, is it actually a human being or someone holding a spoof of that human being. So let me actually give you a live demo. So here I have 4 folders. One is deepfakes, one is face swaps, then Gen AI faces, and then real people. Let's start with deepfakes. So this is it's a synthetic face which is created using a GAN. Now GAN is a slightly old algorithm, but you can see the quality of this face here. It's almost as good as the real face. So what we'll do is we'll convert this into a base 64 string. I've done it already here. So this is the face. I'll just copy the string. That's copied. Let's go to Postman, and this is our AI models API endpoint. I'll just paste it here. Remove the first part. Sorry. And hit send. So this will be the result. Let's analyze what SpoofSense thinks. So SpoofSense says that this is a spoof _DF, and DF means a deepfake. So SpoofSense correctly recognizes this as a deepfake attack and flags it. Similarly, let's try with another attack, which is a very popular type of attack called a face swap. So initially I was going to try with this swap, but since the previous presenter did something online, so what I did was I screenshotted Naman's photo and I screenshotted the founder of Neural Garage's photo, and I swapped it, and I downloaded this. So this is as good as a swapped image, and I'll just copy this image, the base 64 string. That's copied. Let's see what SpoofSense thinks of this kind of a face. Send. So SpoofSense thinks it's a face swap and flags it with a 96% score or a 96% confidence. With a very high confidence, it's able to spot that this is actually not a real human being. It's some kind of a manipulation has been done. Let's try with the elephant in the room, that is Gen AI. So this face is created with an algorithm called Stable Diffusion. And this was created by a user on Reddit, and it got really viral. And this image is very well capable of fooling an online KYC or a video KYC process, because you can just simply create anyone's photograph, and you can even synthesize a fake PAN card or a fake Aadhaar card or fake government ID card. So let's see what SpoofSense thinks of this kind of a face. This is here. I'll just copy it again. Sent. SpoofSense says that it's a deepfake _SD, and SD stands for Stable Diffusion. So we are covering all sorts of generative AI algorithms, and we have bifurcations. So it's a very granular type of detection that we are doing to offer the maximum security. And finally, when people are actually there behind the camera, for example, this user, this is actually a selfie clicked by a genuine user. When these kinds of faces are submitted by the users, let's just copy it again. And I'll head over to Postman. Pasted. And I'll just remove this part. Now let's see SpoofSense what it thinks of a real human being. So it says it's a real or a live user. So this information is very valuable to enterprises. So this is how SpoofSense works. An enterprise that is looking to verify whether their users are real or not can simply integrate our API endpoint, and we detect a wide range of spoofing attacks, as I showed in the demo. We are also globally recognized. So our AI models passed the level 1 testing of our of the accuracy with a 100% score, and making it a state-of-the-art solution. So our journey has been very crazy. We started in March 2022 when we started doing our R&D. By December, we had a state-of-the-art model. We onboarded 7 enterprise customers last year, and so far we've done identity checks of over 20 lakh people, not just in India but worldwide. So yeah, this has been, as the Gen AI fraud is increasing month over month, and this is how we are also keeping at pace with the fraudsters and helping enterprises to detect these kinds of attacks.
Karthike, quickly, Dilip has a question for you. What is the accuracy percentage of this model, and how large the data set this model has been tested on?
I can't disclose the exact data set and the numbers on that, but based on the evaluations that are being done by our current customers, we are hitting very low false positive as well as false negative rates. So you can imagine 1 in 100,000 and 2 in 100,000 are the sorts of false positives and false negatives that we have done based on our internal testing, as well as from the other customers as well. So some testimonials from our customers. So Decentro uses SpoofSense to power their video KYC and online and onboarding solution. And they found that our solution is 100% accurate in their evaluation. And their previous provider was not able to catch a lot of spoofs, which involved a lot of deepfakes, a lot of face swaps, which we were able to catch really well. Similarly, we also power Signsey's facial liveness detection. So these are our bunch of customers. We are sort of now dominating the Indian KYC and verification space. So we have also launched worldwide. So Doja happens to be our first customer from Africa. We are also coming up with a lot of pilots with government agencies, with a lot of big companies that are that are facing this kind of problem, and especially in the Gen AI space. So our models are at the forefront, and that's where we are. So this is our team. All 3 of us are in the call at the moment. So it's me, Ayush is the head of AI from IIT Kharagpur, and we're also joined by Ritik, who is our deep learning engineer. We're also proud to be a part of Google for Startups AI Accelerator this year. And we have investors like 100x and T-Hub on our board. So what is our ultimate vision? So the present is, if you go to Twitter and if you just see what the current situation of Gen AI is, so you can generate images of faces, you can generate fake ID cards, you can generate fake voice. In fact, the voice that was used in our demo was an AI voice that we created using 11 labs. But what is the platform for detecting all this? And that's what we are building. And yeah, we're solving identity fraud. If you have an application that is faced by these kinds of attack vectors, we'd love to talk and possibly solve this problem for you.
All right, good presentation, Karthike. Thank you for taking us throughout whatever you have built. Right, let's catch up offline, and we can collaborate on different other models as well. Right, thank you once again. And well, on that note,
you are on mute, Naman.
You're on mute.
I'm so sorry. So thank you so much, Karthike. It was a wonderful presentation, right? And let's catch up offline as well, right? And to discuss some more use cases on what you are building. So, well, that brings us to the end of our exploration into the fascinating and like one of